bottom feeders sometimes rise to the top. And this time I actually rose to the top because I went 5-0, but that's actually a funny story. Since I'm a primary school teacher, I was in a school camp, and after my kids went to bed in like time span between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., I stayed woke and registered a league. And I actually 5-0'd that league, but my top apparently wasn't good enough to register in a watchable quality, and so I posted it on X before I realized it was something I could not use. So here I need to try to go 5-0 again. Can we do that? Let's find out. Before we start, I want to remember you to not subscribe to the channel and absolutely not like this video, because that's bad manners. You don't do that. And also, I want to remember you that you can use my affiliate code GiorgioCombo with all capital letters on Mezzo Channel and Friends site to have a 5% discount. Their contribution to the Pauper community is very, very important, and also their tokens are very, very cool. And also, just a friendly reminder that I am writing a guide about 5 and 6 land spy. I'm almost there, so stay tuned if you are interested in that. The guide will be omni-comprehensive, and it will contain everything you need to know about every version of this deck and every card you could possibly play in the sideboard or play around, and every matchup that exists in Pauper. But since technology about this deck seems to evolve way faster than for other decks, if you buy the guide, you will have free updates until after Paupergeddon. So I will make sure to let you know that new updates are available, and obviously they will be free. With the guide, you will receive a very nice tool that me and a friend of mine developed. Let me talk about that. Since there are a lot of possible cards you can put in your sideboard, and in my guide I go through all of that, and I explain which cards are good in a given metagame and which cards are better in a different metagame. So it would be very hard to give you a sideboard guide for all the possible iterations of the sideboard. So we developed a program that you can run on your computer or on mobile, where you can choose the 15 cards that you think fit better in your metagame, and the sideboard guide will automatically update in a printable sheet. And I think it's very nice, because you think you will face some fairies? Okay, let's put some pestilence in the sideboard. But how to sideboard versus the metagame with this sideboard? Well, the program will tell you. And what if we cut the Caustic Exhale from this list and play to Pilfer like I did in some previous iteration? Well, the sideboard sheet will update and it will tell you how to sideboard in every matchup. So I think it's a very cool tool, because the metagame is in flux and it's very hard to set in stone 15 cards in the sideboard. Here's the list we are gonna play today. And this is kinda of a return to my stock list. You see 2 Malevolent Rumbles here. I didn't play Malevolent Rumble in the previous 2 videos because I was experimenting a bit. I wanted to cut those 2 cantrips to make some room in the sideboard. But ultimately I decided it's not worth it, because to gain an edge versus Mono Blue Fae, you need to give up too much in other matchups, and I don't think it's a very good approach. If I think that Mono Blue Fairies is all that played, I would register another deck. I think that's the best strategy to win a tournament. And so I'm back to the list that I think it's the best one. But there are some changes that I think they are very good, and I'm gonna explain that. But before we go into the details of the sideboard, let's talk about Malevolent Rumble a bit more. Having more cantrips is good, because sometimes you need to dig for stuff. But the problem with Malevolent Rumble is that it mills cards, and that could be a problem, especially post-board, when people use Graveyard Date, because maybe you cast Malevolent Rumble, you find Dread Return, you mill it, and then you lost your Dread Return, because even if you destroy the Relic of Progenitus, then they are still gonna exile your graveyards in response, most likely, and so Dread Return is gone. There's a new cantrip that has been spoiled in Final Fantasy, which is 1 mana, look at 3, and take a land, a creature, or an artifact, and put all the other cards on the bottom of the deck. And that's very good, I think, because usually we need to find a land or a land cycler, and most of them are creatures anyways. The Spy, we have basically 8 copies of Spies, and all of them are creatures, and Conjurer's Bubble, which is an artifact. So I think I will try to play that card once it comes out. But for now, let's stick to Malevolent Rumble. Let's talk about the sideboard. In the previous video, I tried Pestilence, and it seems very good versus Mono Blue Fae, but I don't think it's the right way to go about things. So I'm trying to dodge Mono Blue Fae and to gain some edges versus the rest of the field. So we have the island, the 6th land. You know, we need the 6th land for when people interact with us a little more. We have the usual Dispels and Duress and the 4th Masked Bundle, which has been cut from the main deck to make room for 2 more cantrips. We have the usual Jack-o'-lantern and Flaring Pain and the natural states. Remember, one of these cards should be a Rust, which is not on Magical Line. We have Snuff Out, because we know Snuff Out is great versus combo decks, and I think this card is very, very good, and actually it solves a lot of the problems of this deck, because this is 1 mana, target creature gets -3/-3, but as an additional cost you have to pay 1 more mana or reveal or control a dragon. And actually we have 8 dragons in our deck, because Sagu Wildling is a dragon, and Masked Bundle has Changeling, so it's a dragon too. And why this card is good? Well, this card does what Snuff Out does versus the combo decks, because versus Wall you can kill the X-Bane Guardian, versus Elves you can kill every elf they play, and stuff like that. But this is also good versus decks that plays Mesmeric Fiend, because Snuff Out cannot kill Mesmeric Fiend since it's black. Caustic Exile can do that. Also, Caustic Exile is, I think, a playable card versus Mono Red Pingers and Rakdos Madness, because a lot of the times, most of the damage they do to you comes from creatures. So 1 mana kill a creature is playable, while 2 mana to kill a creature, for example with something like a Cast Down, is not playable in that matchup. This card usually costs 1 mana, so 1 mana to kill a pinger could be good. And as I said in the previous videos, when we side versus Mono Red or Barn decks in general, we need to cut 3 Duress, and we put in Masked Bundle and 2 Natural States. And then we have 2 cantrips that we should cut, because we need to be a little faster and we don't have time to cantrip all that much. And I think Caustic Exile as a 2-off serves this role pretty well, so it helps the mapping of the sideboard, because you also have 4 removal spells for elves and stuff like that. So I think it will be very good. Let's see if we face matchups in which this is relevant. Let's begin match number 1. Again, you didn't see the first attempt for the reason stated before, but here we are for the first match of this fresh league. Let's see how it goes. And unfortunately, this is a mulligan, because we don't have initial mana sources. And here we do have initial mana sources. We have to put something back, and let's see. We have 3 forests, 1 swamp, a spy. And we have to decide if we want to keep the Malevolent Rumble or the Masked Vandal. Vandal is good if they have Spellbomb, main deck, which is not very common. Rumble, it's always fine, so I think I'm gonna keep the Malevolent Rumble, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we have all the lands, and I'm gonna show you my hand. This probably means they are gonna play John Wildfire or Affinity, since Rakdos Madness doesn't usually play artifact lands anymore. This, oh yeah, of course. And Yeah, maybe keeping the Vandal would have been better, but what can you do? Okay, so this is not a very good draw. And let's grab the swamp. Since we have another forest in the deck, and I'm gonna keep it in the deck till the last moment, so that if they wildfire us, we can grab the forest. And I need to grab the swamp now and expose my 2 swamps because I really need to Dimir Guard now. I wanna put them in a spot where they cannot cleansing wildfire us, because if they do, we kill them. And to do that, we need to have creatures on the board and Dimir Guard and the spy end. So I wanna grab my spy as fast as possible. Okay, let's do that. Grab the spy. It's likely that I'm gonna Balustrade Spy with no spare mana, and that they will have some removal spells. And let's hope they don't find a spell bomb. In that case, we could Malevolent Rumble to destroy the aforementioned spell bomb. Okay, this is fine, I guess. Okay, so I'm for sure gonna cast many partings because I wanna put a food on the board. There's no point in casting a second one, because if they have removal spells, they are not gonna kill the cat. So I'm gonna cast this one. I'm gonna cast Malevolent Rumble, since it could find a Vandal and also leaves a creature on the board. What if I cast the Gatekeeper Vine and the Malevolent Rumble? Okay, so if we cast Gatekeeper Vine and Malevolent Rumble, we still have 2 creatures on the board. And on the next turn, if we have 5 mana, we could go Spy, many partings for the cat, to reanimate the cat. But there's no real point in doing that, because we could leave a black mana up and just reanimate the zombie if we have 5 mana. And having creatures with more toughness doesn't matter that much, because if we mill ourselves, they have enough artifacts to kill all the creatures we have. I think I'm not gonna start with Malevolent Rumble because I don't wanna mill my last land, and I don't wanna be forced to take that. So I'm gonna cast. Yeah, I think many partings is the best one. And now I'm gonna Malevolent Rumble and see what's up. And okay, yeah, I guess I will take the Sagu Wildling and pass the turn. If they spellbomb us, it's very bad because we mill the Dread Return, and that's why I don't like the card that much in this deck. 1, 2, 3, 3 mana. Yeah, okay, this is fine. Okay. Okay. We need a bubble, I guess. So let's cycle this one just to put it in the graveyard. This is not a bubble at all. Okay. If we go for the spy, no, we need a creature on the board. I think I'm gonna cast the Sagu Wildling because it's a flyer that doesn't die to card on Shaman, and also because they need 3 mana and 3 artifacts to kill it with makeshift munitions, so I think it's the better one. If they didn't have the card on Shaman, it would have been probably better to cast Gatekeeper Vines, both vines, but since they have the Shaman, there's no point in casting them, I think. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. Okay, so they draw land with a map. They attack, okay. Songs of the Damned. This is the absolute opposite of Songs of the Damned. Okay, so we're gonna cast this one, and no point in searching. No. And yeah, I think I'm gonna cast the Gatekeeper Vine. And again, no point in casting this one. No, I want to keep it in hand, because if they go for the... if they play 2 rats, then we discard the Spy, and obviously I don't want to do that. So they are gonna Shaman now. Okay, probably they have another Shaman. That was a reason to not cast the second Gatekeeper Vine, I guess. And they are gonna cast a Chrysalis. Oh, yeah. And this is very, very bad, because we have just 1 Dread Return, and Malevolent Rumble made us lose this game. And again, that's why I don't like the card in this deck. But obviously, we have been unlucky to mill exactly that 1 card. And obviously, we have been very unlucky to not draw any Songs of the Damned or Bubble, but it is what it is, I guess. Okay, let's cast this one just to gain some life if need be. And I think we lost this game. Okay, so this is a very short clock. Yeah. And there's no point in keeping this one around, because we don't have the Dread Return anymore, so might as well use them now. And I think we should just stop the Songs of the Damned. I'm not even sure if we have another turn, so... can we leave for another turn? And maybe I should have cast Many Partings before. And that was a mistake. So we are gonna take 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. Yeah, I think we are gonna survive, but okay, let's try. This on the bottom, this on top, this on top. Yes, I wanna use the far side ability. I think I'm gonna cast the Balustrade Spy just to block. And mill my opponent, of course. I don't think that's anything relevant they could mill. Okay, some lands, okay. Let's pass and let's see what happens. We die to an Hydra, I think. No, no, we don't die to an Hydra. Okay. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. I think we do die to an Hydra. Let's see. I guess. Hydra for 9. Okay. Why is it for 9? Because they have a way to kill the Balustrade Spy, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna block 100% and see what happens. Okay, this seems like a win, unless they have something unexpected. They are at 20 life, we have 20 creatures. Okay. That's it. 20. Okay, so we win. Cool. Okay, we have to board in the disenchants in place of duress, because there's nothing we would really want to discard. Of course, they could have some gain life cards like Weather the Storm, but we could beat Weather the Storm the same way we beat the other cards in their deck, which is with Songs of the Damned. So there's no need to discard the card most of the times. Sometimes Duress could be good, but it's not enough to justify its presence in the deck. We need a 6th land because they're gonna destroy our lands, and we need to protect. We cut Malevolent Rumble because it's kind of like slot, and also because you saw that milling cards is somewhat risky. And at that point, I'm not really sure what's the best plan, because we have this last card, which is fine. We could keep it in. We could bring one Snuff Out, which is fine because it can kill the Kirkland Shaman and can be tutored with the Dimir House Guard. Or we could side in Rust, because it's a way to beat Spellbomb if we have enough mana. It's unlikely we have enough mana because it's likely they are gonna destroy our lands, but it can happen. Since we are on Magic Online and I don't have Rust and this is another state, I'm gonna bring in another state, but if it was on paper, it's debatable what it's better to do. And yeah, this is a keep. We have the Spy, we have some lands, we have some ways to destroy artifacts. Yeah, I think it's debatable what we're gonna keep. There's an argument for keeping the second Vandal and for the Natural State, because Natural State could be good if we want to destroy the card at the end of turn and then combo on our turn. But at the same time, Max Vandal is a creature, which is of course better. Since they don't usually have Relic of Progenitors, but they have Spellbomb, which doesn't exile our graveyard until they pop off. It's easy to keep creatures in the graveyard, and I think I'm gonna keep the Masked Vandal, but it could be wrong. It's very, very hard to say. Of course, we are gonna go Forest Many Partings, unless they duress us. Okay. Oh, also, Masked Vandal could mess up with their lands, and that's something that could happen. Okay, so I think, again, we have to grab the Swamp. And we need to expose one Swamp to... Okay, very nice. 1 mana in my hand. Fine with me. Yeah, that's another reason to cast the spells before the creatures, because Duress is very likely to miss if you sequence that way. Okay, this is a bad draw, but okay. So now we have to decide, because if we play the Swamp and they wildfire us, then we are not gonna have 2 mana to transmute the Dimir House Guard. But since we don't have Sakura Tribe Elder, at the moment there's no way to play around that. So I think we should cross our fingers now and hope they don't have the card. So we grab the Swamp and see what happens. If they destroy the Swamp, we grab an island, and at that point we need to find the Spy or a bubble to put the swamp back. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna discard the Cauldron Familiar, which I can reanimate if need be, even now, even before the combo. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, very nice. I think we are in a very good shape now, because we have the Spy. Of course, it's very, very important to do this now, because if they destroy the swamp, then we are kind of screwed. And let's see, we have basically four lands available. We need to find two more. We have two ways to destroy artifacts, and we have an Elven Farsight to grab the remaining pieces. It's not clear if we will need the bubble. It's somewhat likely, but if they don't draw Karknon Shaman, then we might not need it. Okay. It's I don't know about this play, because I think going for the Lambas would have been better, since you need to have a clock, and Lambas gaining 3 life is not gonna save you, I think. Okay, so this is our land. Okay, let's think this through. If we go for the Generous End and the Many Partings, okay, let's say we use the Generous End and we obviously take the Forest. Then use the Forest to cast Many Partings. If we take the Forest, maybe they don't know we have the 6th land. They wildfire, we untap and kill them. But if they don't do that, it's very bad. It's less good because it's easier to find the Forest. So I think it's too greedy to do that. I'm gonna grab my Forest. I'm gonna play my Forest, play my Many Partings for the island, and I'm gonna Farsight. Okay, this is perfect. I'm gonna keep... I wanna draw Generous End and leave the bubble on top. Because if they tap out, I cycle the Generous End and untap, play my 5th land, use the Spy to kill them. But at the same time, I wanna leave my 6th land in the deck for now, because if they wildfire, then no need to use the Ant. And I wanna leave Conjurer's Bubble on top, because if they pass the turn, I can draw the bubble and kill them next turn. And I wanna leave Land Grant on... No, this I don't need, so let's do that. Yeah, okay. And I think this is another instance of Farsight being better than Rumble in this deck, because not only we didn't mill cards that could have been problematic, but also we found 2 good cards we are interested in. And yeah, sometimes, okay, this is nice. Sometimes it's Rumble is better, but overall I think this is still better. And yeah, I think I'm gonna discard Math Bundle and not play Ara. So now I'm gonna draw Bubble and play it. And next turn I'm gonna combo out with 6 lands. I could discard the island or the Masked Vandal. If I discard the island, then it's bad if they go for 2 wildfires. Because at that point, I just have 4 mana, and I don't have enough mana to spy and songs in the same turn. But it's not very likely, right? Because if they had wildfire, they would have cast it sometimes in the previous turns. So maybe they could have 1, but it's very unlikely they have 2. If I discard a Vandal, then I'm less good. I'm punished if they have 2 ways to remove my graveyard. And I think that's more likely. I think I'm gonna discard the island, and I'm gonna... No, I'm gonna discard the Vandal, and here is why. Walker started playing 3 mana Grave 8 cards. Crypt Incursion and... Crypt Incursion. If we have 6 lands, maybe we could go Vandal and Spy in the same turn and deny the 3rd mana, because there's no way they are gonna keep 4 mana up next turn. And I'm sure one of those mana, it's gonna be one of these lands. So I think it's safer to do this. If they use another rat, I'm gonna cycle the Ant and discard the Forest and try to combo on my turn. I think we are in great shape, but obviously there's some combination of cards that could kill us. Or not actually killing us, but making it so it's impossible for us to win. This is not one of those plays. Okay, very nice. I think we won. Okay. Cycle for the last land. I don't think they drew very well in this match, but also I think we are favored in this match. Okay, let's... Oh no, I cannot do that. Let's see what happens. And let's use Crawl from the Cellar for the Giant. And as they say in the very cool musical Into the Woods, there are giants in the sky. And GiorgioCombo wins the match. Okay, welcome to match number 2. And this is obviously a very good keep. We have the Spy, we have the lands, we have some cantrips. Blue and green. What's this? I'm not sure, maybe fog? Anyway, let's grab the land number 2 so that we can go for Gatekeeper Vine on turn 2. Maybe Petitioners, maybe Turbo Fog, I don't know. No, I don't think Petitioners has a meaningful reason to play this. Okay. Maybe Infect. Yeah. This seems like Infect to me, to be honest. Okay. This is very, very bad for us. Okay. I think I'm gonna grab the Forest, because next turn I'm gonna go far side into maybe search for a land. And I think I'm gonna block, because the Vine is gonna survive 1 attack. And if they wanna spend some pump spell to kill the Vine, well, I'm fine with that. Okay, let's block. Cool, and it survived. That's perfect. Wow. Yeah. This reminds me of my beloved sticker Infect, a very good deck with a very sad story. And I think I'm gonna go for, let's see. Okay, so if I go Forest, many partings, and Farsight and Duress, and I have 4 lands. I can't win next turn anyways, so might as well cast the Duress, yeah. And as always, Farsight I cast before, after the shuffling effect to leverage the scry in a better way. So we need a forest and some time. We grab the swamp, of course. We cast Element Farsight. Okay, that's really good because now we are gonna draw the no, not now. Next turn we are gonna draw the forest, and if we can afford to not block with Vine, then we win because we have all the lands and we have 3 creatures: food, the Vine, and the Spy. And we will know if we could afford to not block because of Duress. And there's no use for these other cards, I think. So I'm gonna bottom those for, I don't know, maybe we need to find something else. Okay, put on top. No, don't use the ability and Duress, and let's see. I don't think we can. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So next turn, with 4 mana, they're gonna cast Embiggen, which is +4, 6, 7, 8, 9, with the gates. And we have to block. Yeah, that's very bad. I think we die here. Unfortunate. And what if we take the growth? Then they double Embiggen for 8, 9, 10. We have to block. Okay, the only way we could win this game is if we somehow bait them into not going for it. So maybe if we take mutagen growth, so if we take a +4, they have to tap out, and maybe they don't go for it. So yeah, take the Embiggen and pray. Okay, let's go. And here we don't have 6 because we have to bait them into thinking we have something. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, so nothing mattered. Okay, we do want the Caustic Exhale. We want Snuff Out, and I think we do want Duress. I don't think we want Malevolent Rumble. We could cut Masked Bundle, which makes Caustic Exhale less good, but of course, when I designed the sideboard, I had not Infect in mind. So I think that's the better way to go about things. We could cut Duress and leave Masked Bundle in because probably they have some artifact creatures, the Igor Claw Mirror, and just because this is a blocker and a dragon for my Caustic Exhale. But at the same time they have blue, they play blue, so they could have some counter spells. No, I think it's better to leave Duress in, okay. Also because Duress can clear the way for a removal spell. No, this is a mulligan, and this is a keep. 1, 2, 3 lands, and the cantrip for the Spy. They don't play removal spells, so I don't think we need Songs of the Damned, so I'm gonna put that back in. Yeah. I'm not gonna do Duress on turn 1 because it's better to do it later and know the content of their hands, of their end. this is a spy. I'm gonna go for Gatekeeper Vine and I'm gonna grab Swamp this time, because next turn I'm probably gonna cycle my Demiros Guard. Or maybe I'm just gonna kill the Blighted Agent. Okay, so now Caustic Exhale costs 1, which is very nice. Yeah, and in that case I think I should go for Duress before the Caustic Exhale, because maybe they have 2 mutagen growth. For sure I want to kill this creature, because they don't play a lot of creatures and maybe they don't have another one. And if that's the case, I think I also want to Duress to ensure this creature dies. And at that point, I think I'm gonna cycle this one for the land, yeah. So, let's go. Okay, so they don't have another creature, and those are Land Searchers. They have a lot of pump spells, and at this spell. This spell does nothing once I resolve Caustic Exhale, because I have just removal spells as instants in my deck. And also I have Songs of the Damned, which I'm not planning to cast. So this spell does nothing, and I think it's better to... This is a +4 and this is a +3, basically. So I think it's better to take this one. And I'm gonna use this one for a forest. Okay, nice. Caustic Exhale has been good so far. Yes. Here I'm gonna transmute for the spy. I'm gonna Farsight. And I'm gonna win next turn, I think, because I found the land. Probably maybe I should have Farsighted before the transmute effect, because if I do a spy I could have cast Vine, but it didn't matter. So put this one on the bottom, because yeah, I don't think it does anything. Let's put this one on top and this one on top, just because, so that I at least draw a card. Next turn I'm gonna combo with my trusty zombie, and I don't think they will stop me because they have 2 unknown cards. I don't think they have something to stop me from my combo. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, so they had this spell. Yeah, I think I will keep Duress in, because I have this spell and I can use this spell to clear the path for my removal spells. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a keep. I have the lands, I need to draw a spy. Yeah, I don't think I can mulligan this hand. I also have the dragon. Not sure if I'm gonna Duress now. Okay, no, I think I'm gonna cast Farsight now, because I have all the lands and I just need to find a spy. And yeah, I'm gonna Farsight. Okay, obviously I won the Demiros Guard. The question is if I want the Sakura Trebelder. And yeah, probably I do, because it's better than a random card, I think. So that I speed up my clock by a turn and I have a blocker for next turn. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Obviously I don't need an Ant. Yeah. Go. On my turn I'm gonna play Forest, cast Sakura Trebelder, and on my next turn I'm gonna have all the lands and cycle for the... Okay, they didn't play a creature, that's fantastic. Okay, do I wanna land grant now? Let's see, if I go Sakura Trebelder, I untap on my next turn with 3 mana. I'm gonna land grant for the 1st mana. I'm gonna cycle this one, No, I don't think I need. I don't think I need to do that. Okay. I think this card is very good for Infect. I'm not sure if Infect is a good deck, but that's a very good card for Infect. Since they are tapped out, I'm gonna do that now. Yeah. And if they play a creature that I can block, maybe I will not sacrifice this. Okay, no point in keeping the Sakura Tribe around now. So I'm gonna cycle for the swamp. I don't, if I cycle, I don't win next turn. I don't win on turn 4. Because I have 5 mana, but I don't have creatures. So maybe I go, I do something different. I play Duress, search my last land with Generous Ant, or Sagu Wildling is basically the same, and I cast the zombie. Oh no, I keep the Sagu Wildling in hand, because I can behold it if I draw the removal spell. The problem is, if they have a gate, I'm dead into attacks. Yeah, I think I like this play. I Duress and cast the rest of the cards. I keep Dimira's Guard in hand because I can transmute for a removal spell, and hope I don't die this turn. I don't know if they have an untapped land. They pump for 3. This has become 4, and then a +4 and a mutagenic growth to kill me. Yeah, I don't think I can realistically play around that, so I'm gonna Duress. Okay, what if I take this spell? I need to kill the creature, because if I don't, now they attack for 5 this turn and 5 next turn, because it's 1, 3 for the gates, and 4, 5 with Distortion Strike, which will be rebounded next turn, and I'm dead. So I need to kill that creature, and in order to do that I need to take this spell and hope they won't cast Ichor Mirror, because they have Distortion Strike to give it unblockable. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Yeah, I think I have to take this spell because I hope I don't die. Okay, let's go. Here's the island. If they go for the Distortion Strike play, it's good for us, because then we kill the creature and they do not have the Ichor Mirror in play, and they already used the Distortion Strike. But probably they're gonna go for Relic's Roar and pump. That's what I would do, at least. But let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, and they're gonna cast the Ichor Mirror. Yeah, I think they drew a very good card. Yeah, because they now unlucky. We can top deck, I guess. If we top deck, no, a spy doesn't win the game. Well, let's see. This doesn't do it. Next turn we are gonna die to the rebound ability of Distortion Strike. So we have to draw a removal spell, and we have to draw 2 draws to do that. Let's see. I am not gonna shuffle anything in. Yeah, I can use the Dimira's Guard, transmute for Snuff Out, but then I die. to the Igor mirror. Yeah, I think they top deck really well. Okay, let's do that. No, maybe. Oh no, no, the top deck didn't actually. No, it didn't change anything because they could have relic roars. Yeah, it was the same. Okay, GG. Okay, so this is round 3. Welcome, and this is a mulligan, and this is also a mulligan, and this is a keep. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep those 3 cards for sure, and I need a spy, and I think I'm gonna keep both Malevolent Rumbles because it's very likely that they will find land searchers, and I'm not sure if I will need the bubble, but in case I need it, I have 4 Malevolent, 8 looks to find 1, so I think it's good to do that. Okay, this seems like the aggro deck, mono black sacrifice deck. Okay, so it seems like we have basically all the lands we need. And next turn I'm gonna go Vine into Rumble and set up my next turns. Let's see. I'm gonna block because why not? And I'm gonna take Forest. It doesn't actually matter, but might as well. Okay, still go for the plant, grab the swamp and cast Malevolent Rumble, looking for a spy. Yeah, here's the swamp, here's the rumble, and here's the spy. Okay, very nice. And I think I can win next turn because I have 5 mana. I can use Sagu Wildling for the last forest and still have 5 mana. No. I'm not sure what deck is this. Yeah, now we are in the in the tough spot of needing to cast Malevolent Rumble, which might mill some important cards. So I will cast Bubble beforehand, because if something very important goes to the graveyard, I can shuffle it back in response to the Nil Spellbound trigger. And we need the Vandal, and yeah, okay, this is a Vandal, very nice. There is a reason to go for Vandal now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn I will have 7 mana, so that I can go Balustrade Spy, Vandal, Spy, and Songs. If I do this now, I use 1 mana less, but I draw 1 card. But I think it's good because maybe I will not have the spawns in play next turn, so that would delay my win, and I don't like it. Okay, yeah, and they're gonna draw. I'm not sure what cards are in my opponent's deck, but if they make me discard with a Refurbished Familiar, I can draw with a Conjurer's Bubble and save the Spy. Is it Gardens? Okay, but do Gardens plays Shambling Gas nowadays? Don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna combo now. Okay, here's my Spy. Fine with me. Also fine with me. Also fine with me. It seems like Gardens. Maybe Shambling Gas is something to gain an edge versus Mono-Red. I'm not sure. And grab back the Lotleth Giant. And we actually can Giant a lot of times because of the Conjurer's Bubble. We can deal up to 75 approximately 75 damage here, because it's 25 for every giant. So here I go for a giant, animate the zombie, try to return the other giant, and sacrificing the first giant, and then use bubble to grab another giant. Okay, this seems like gardens to me, and I think I need to play more artifact removal. I don't think I need the 6th land, and so I don't think I need rust, and I am gonna leave Malevolent Rumble in. Again, there are some risks involved in casting Malevolent Rumble, especially post side, but it also found a Masked Vandal who won me the game, this game. So okay, so we are gonna mulligan, and we are gonna mulligan again, unfortunately, and we are gonna mulligan again. Yeah, this time I'm gonna keep, I think, and hope to draw a land or an ant, because I have lands, I have a spy, and I don't think going to 3 is really that effective. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, but this is good. Yeah, I have to cycle now, or else they are gonna discount my generous ant. Very tough to be discarded 2 times after I mulligan to 4. They should probably take the Dimiros Guard, even though Sakura Tribeelder is the juicy choice. Yeah, I think. Oh, well. Okay, so the reason why I don't like bringing in the 6th land versus decks like that is because a 6th land makes you mulligan way worse, because your combo is not 5 lands and a spy anymore, but it is 6 lands, and when they go after your resources with discard spells and stuff like that, it can be hard. Of course, if you keep at 7 it doesn't matter, but sometimes you go to 5 or even to 4, and if you have 5 lands you can do that. With 6 it's harder. I don't sacrifice the Sakura Tribeelder here because I am fine finding drawing a land. Now it's tough, because obviously I want to cast Elven Farsight, and I think now I have to sacrifice Sakura Tribeelder, because if I find 2 cards and I need to sacrifice this one, then it's very bad. Yeah. And I don't need to go fast, so I'm gonna grab the Swamp. Bubble is good, but I don't think I can afford to mulligan another time. Yeah, no, I can't afford to do that. Another non-creature, 4 non-creatures on top of a deck in a row. Well, it happens. And this is a spot where Rumble would have been clearly better, but I think it's a very corner case scenario. And now I think we are in a very bad spot, because we need 2 lands and we need some creatures on the board, and we are very far away from a combo, and they will draw a whole lot of cards. Yeah, so the bubble is now required. Okay, this is good at least. Grab a forest, and I could have passed. I could slow roll many partings, because then I can draw a forest, but also I put 3 good cards on the bottom, which were 2 Farsight and 1 bubble. So if I I much rather have one forest less in the deck but 3 good cards more than the opposite. Yeah, I think there's no point in waiting. Let's see. But at the same time, if I draw forest, it's not that bad, because then I can cast the Sagu Wildling. So I think I will wait, because if they pilfer, they are gonna take the Balustrade Spy anyway. So yeah, let's wait. And I think I'm gonna discard the Wildling, because lands are much more prevalent in my deck than disenchants, and this game is gonna go long. Yeah, I'm gonna do that now, because this can be the rest. And I'm gonna play the forest, because no way I'm gonna discard that if they go for refurbished familiar. I'm gonna discard natural state. And I think I'm gonna gain some life, because I don't think we are gonna put ourselves in a spot to reanimate 2 times the cat. Okay, so they're gonna gain some life, and I'm gonna do the same. Might as well destroy something, and yeah, I'm gonna destroy a land. I'm gonna gain some life, because the game is gonna go long, and I could die to these crypt rats. So this is a win. Okay, so I win now. I have to check if Spin in Darkness could deal with black creatures, because if not, I'm gonna go Balustrade Spy, reanimate the cat, and reanimate the zombie, and Dread Return. Snuff Out doesn't work, obviously, because it can't kill black creatures. But what about Spin in Darkness? Okay, it's non-black creature, so I think we win now. Okay? Unless they have, I don't know, something very, very strange, like very macabre. But I can't do anything to beat that anyway, so... Dread Return for the Giant. I think they have something, because they would have already conceded. Or no? So there are giants in the sky? And there are giants in the sky, and GiorgioCombo wins the match. But I think my opponent misplayed. Okay, let's go. Welcome to match number 4. Yeah, match number 4. And we are gonna start. And we are gonna... This is a keepable hand, but it's not a very good one. Yeah, I would keep this hand for sure if this was a spy. But here we need to not miss with Elven Farsight. And then we need to find other lands, and we also don't have the better spy. So I think at 7 I would rather mulligan. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan again. And I'm gonna keep this one. For sure, I'm gonna keep 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's more likely that I need a Conjurer's Bubble. Obviously, that's not a guarantee, but I think I like to do that, yeah. Because if Conjurer's Bubble it's useless, I could cycle it. If the Vandal it's useless, I'm stuck with that in end. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna go Forest, Land Grant, and Conjurer's Bubble. Next time I'm gonna Sakura Tribe Elder. And see what happens. And this is a forest they don't know about, which is could be somewhat relevant, because they can not see the kill coming. This seems like high tide. Yeah, I think this is high tide, and we need to go fast and or find some duresses. Okay, so we're gonna win next turn unless they do something to stop us, and it's somewhat relevant that they don't have they usually play counters that don't counter the spy, so bubble could be a way to beat a counter, because you go for the spy, you go for the dread return, they counter, and you bubble back the Songs of the Damned and do the usual loop. And that's not the case right now because we don't have two creatures, but it can happen. Okay, so do we go for it? They shuffled with Ponder, so I could play Great Creeper Vine and next turn be in the same spot, because I need two creatures to do the thing, and I am pretty sure they're playing High Tide, and I'm afraid of being dead, so I'm gonna go for it, because they usually play the list that won the showcase played, no, the qualifier played just two counters main deck, if I am not mistaken, and I think it's reasonable to assume they don't have one in the first 13 cards, but let's see. Okay, step 1 achieved. Step 2 achieved. Step 3 okay, so this is not High Tide and we lost. Okay. It's maybe Mono Blue Terror. Okay, so if it's Mono Blue Terror, they usually don't play ways to remove the graveyard, and we cut Malevolent Rumble, and we cut the package of Crawl and Songs, because Bubble could just grab back a Dispel or a Duress if the Spy resolve, and if the Spy doesn't resolve, having Songs or Crawl does nothing anyway. So I think it's reasonable to do that, because remember, they just have 4 counterspell to counter the Spy. Many of their counters doesn't counter the Spy. So if the Spy resolve, then Conjurer's Bubble is like a Duress, because you use Bubble and grab a Duress or a Dispel or whatever. So I think it's the plan I wanna try. Let's go. And this is a mulligan, and this is a keep. Okay, I'm gonna bottom the cat, I think. Yeah, because I have many pairings. Go. Okay, so they ponder and don't shuffle. And here I go for the plant. And I think I'm gonna grab the swamp so that I can transmute next turn. Okay, so this is blue-black terror. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna use the Mirror's Guard and grab the Spy. And I need 2 lands and some form of disruption. Okay. And given the way I sided, I think we lost. I don't think I have a way to beat this card now, because I thought that was another deck. Maybe a beatdown plan could work. I don't think so, but might as well try. And I'm gonna take the cut and leave the island on top. No, I need to speed things up, so I'm gonna... But I don't think the cut does anything. Maybe I should put the cut back, take Sakura Tribe-Elder and leave island on top, draw with bubble, and use Sakura Tribe-Elder and hope to start drawing monsters. Yeah. Yeah, so I have to go for the beatdown plan. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but that's the only route to victory. Okay, so now I'm gonna cast my Duress and see what's up, and then cast one of these 2 creatures. And if it wasn't for the Nihil Spellbomb, I would have comboed, because I would have discarded Counterspell and go for the Spy. Yeah, and now I'm gonna take Counterspell and cast the Spy, because if I go for Wildling, they are just gonna snuff out. Problem is, if I mill them, it's actually good for them, and they're gonna cast a Terror, and I don't think this is gonna work out very well. So maybe I could take Snuff out and cast the Wildling. No. In that case, it's better to take Counterspell, because Snuff out deals 4 to them. And I cast the Spy. And, you know, milling a Gurmagengler was actually good. Oh, I should have cast Conjurer's Bubble, sorry. So now they're gonna play Island and Tyrant Terror, I think, yeah. Another one, okay. I don't think I'm gonna win this game. This is blank. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Sagu Wildling, and well, maybe at that point it's better to draw. Yeah, let's make them use the snuff out, I think. I'm gonna attack because I'm not gonna block, so let's block because I don't have a use for creatures anyways. Yeah, I think if there's a way to win this game is to double... Oh no, double blocking doesn't work because of the snuff out. So might as well attack. I need to start drawing creatures, big creatures. And I can gain some life. And if I knew they were on blue-black, I would have cut Bubble for Masked Vandal and probably win this game. And I think this match went to me not understanding, reading correctly what kind of deck they were playing. I have to triple block and I hope they don't have two removal spells. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. What if I just attack? They go to 8, I cast the Wildling. They're gonna snuff out at the end of turn. Yeah, I'm gonna attack. Because I have to steal this game. If the only way for me to win this game it's by stealing it. Okay, so snuff out, kill the dragon, and they go to 7. I cast this one. Let's go. Okay, nice. If somehow they don't have removal spells, very unlikely, but yeah, of course. Yeah. If now we draw an ant, maybe. And they mill. Oh, they mill. They mill us. Okay. Go to 7. Yeah. And I think it's over. Okay, GG. Okay, welcome to match number 5, and this is a keep, a fine keep. We have 3 lands, we have the spy, and some useful stuff. So I think this is a reasonable keep. Snow-covered forest. Okay. So we have all the forests, we need a swamp. And I'm gonna play forest, and I'm gonna cycle a generous end. Because they could be playing Ponza, and I don't want to expose my swamps until I need to do that. But this is not Ponza. Maybe dredge. Maybe 6-land spy. Okay, so this seems like 6-land spy. Drawing the spy is fine for many reasons. The first one being that we do not need to cycle the Mirror's Guard anymore. And the second is that since they play, usually play Mesmeric Fiend, having 2 copies can deal with that. They know my forest, so there's an incentive to not play the swamp. But at the same time, if I play the swamp and I draw the swamp with Malevolent Rumble, I could cycle the Mirror's Guard. Yeah, I don't... But that's relevant only if we see the swamp with Malevolent Rumble. No, I don't like that, because if they know the number of lands we have in our deck, they can spy us. Okay, so this is very bad, because I would have preferred to have a forest in the deck to cycle at the last possible moment. But now, obviously, I have to take it. And pass the turn, okay. Another one, okay. Okay, another spy, it's not the worst. And I think I'm gonna cast Malevolent Rumble now. I need to draw something to fetch my last swamp. And I don't want to expose my swamp, because I don't want to let them know that I have all the lands in hand. Okay, so I'm gonna combo next turn. And I have 2 spies. 2 spice girls to play around Mesmeric Fiend. Now I'm gonna play Forest and sacrifice one of the spawn tokens to search for a land. Is it better to do that with Gatekeeper Vine or with Sakura Tribalder? I think Sakura Tribalder is better because, yes, Vine is a creature that stays on the board, but it gives me 1 less mana next turn. And 1 more mana means 1 more creature, because I can unearth the zombie. So it's the same when it comes to the number of creatures. But Sakura Tribalder actually leaves the swamp in, so that if they go for spy on me, I don't die, because I have a land in the deck. Unless swamp is the last card of my deck, and it seems very unlikely. So I think Sakura Tribalder is the best. And next turn, I'm gonna have 5 mana, I'm gonna cast a spy and have 2 creatures, plus the zombie that I'm gonna unearth. I think the most reasonable way to not win this game is if I draw Dread Return. They don't know any of the cards I have in hand. No? Okay. So, as far as I know, they have 2 lands in the deck. If they search for both, I can spy them. And if they don't, I can spy myself. Okay, the Stampede is fine. Okay, so 2 Mesmeric Fiends, but they can't cast both. In fact, they can't even cast one of them right now. And I think we won. And I think this is a mistake, because now I can't spy them. So even if I draw the Dread Return, I win anyways. But I am not sure if I need to do that. Yeah, let's do that, so that we see their deck. Okay, pass the turn. Okay, so it's a pretty stock list, or so it seems to me. Let's go to sideboarding. Okay, so this deck don't usually play Artifact 8. I want my Caustic Exhale because it can kill Mesmeric Fiend, and I want my Jack-o'-lantern because he can stop their combo. The other cards are very marginal. I think they should go to 5 lands, and I think they should remove the Mountain and the Chrysalis, and I think Durez is not great, but the other cards are not great either. So maybe this is the best. Okay, so let's do that. If they have something fancy for game 3, we can side in Dispel, for example, or Max Bundle, but let's see what happens. Yeah, I think this is a keep. I have all the lands. I have ways to find my lands at instant speed, which is very important in this matchup. I have something to find the spy. I have many partings, which is a creature for Dread Return, and with 5 lands I can, with 5 lands and food on the board, I can Dread Return. So I think this is a reasonable end. And this end can be a little slow because we don't have the Spy and we don't have Sakura Tribe Elder, but I don't think their deck is very good at going fast. They don't have ways to tutor for the Spy, so on average I don't expect to die by turn 4. Okay, let's see what's up. Exhume. Master Bundle. Okay. And they have Sakura Tribe Elder. I think I'm not gonna go for many partings right now because they have Exhume, and I wanna punish Exhume if they try to go for the Troll Exhume play. Yeah, I think it's better to do that. And next turn, 2 green mana, I'm gonna go many partings and Wildling for the 2 swamps and set up a nice turn for 5 kill. Yeah, because they don't have the Spy, so there's no point for them right now to rush into Sakura Tribe Elder and stuff. So if I use many partings, they are surely going for Exhume because they don't have a Spy, so they should try to steal the game. And I don't like Thief, I don't wanna be stealed. And yeah, I'm gonna cycle the Generous End so that they cannot go for the Exhume and be unpunished. Yeah, okay, let's grab the 2 swamps. I can go for Elven Farsight now, but I think I prefer to wait. Next turn I'm gonna play Swamp and Farsight, hoping to find a Spy or a Transmuter. Okay, so I know their end. Okay. Yeah, they have all the lands, I think, because I think they cut the forest, or at least that's what I would do. Yeah, so next turn I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna play Elven Farsight before I search the forest, because if I search for the forest and they draw the Spy, they Spy me and I lose. And all I need to find right now is another Spy for their Mesmeric Fiend. So I don't need the Scry. Yeah. I think I'm gonna keep Dimira's Guard. I'm gonna draw the Dimira's Guard and keep Gatecreeper Vine on top, because I wanna be sure to not draw Dread Return. Actually, no, I'm gonna put this one back on the bottom, this on top, and this on top. This way I have another Spy if they discard my Spy. And next turn I'm gonna be sure that I don't draw Dread Return, because I don't shuffle, and on my turn I use the 0 mana Land Searcher to search for the last one of my forests. I gain some life, because why not? And they are trying to do what they can do. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So I'm not winning this turn, okay. Well, I could spy them, because I'm pretty sure they don't have a 5th land. But what if I just pass? I just grab another spy. I think it's safer. And this way, I think I am just punished if I draw Dread Return or the zombie. But even then, I could spy them, because I don't think they have the 6th land in the deck, and they concede. So, what are my conclusions about this deck list? Well, it's a little bit sad to give you a 3-2 after I recorded a 5-0, but it is what it is. But if you think about it, I lost versus Infect, which is not a very relevant deck in the metagame, I think. And I also lost kinda because of the absence of Rust. Because game 2 versus Blue-Black Terror, I sided out all the Vandals, and I always bring in Rust when I do that in paper, because it's an out to possible Relic of Progenitors or stuff like that. And I think that we would have won that game, because they just had a Dispel in hand and a Spellbomb on the board. And with 6 lands and 2 bubbles, we had 2 bubbles on the board, we could go for the combo. They crack the Relic, no, sorry, the Spellbomb, we Conjurer's Bubble the Rust, they Dispel, and we Conjurer's Bubble again. And I think that's where you get punished for not having Rust. So I think it was not a bad showing after all for the deck. The rest of the sideboard I liked very much. I think Caustic Exile is a very good card. I think it shined versus Infect, and in the league I recorded that you cannot see, unfortunately. It was good in many spots. It was nice to bring Caustic Exile in the kinda mirror match to have an edge versus Mesmeric Fiend, and I think it's a very good card overall. So let's analyze the 3 leagues that I played for this channel with this deck. One of those leagues you cannot see, so you kinda have to trust me. In these leagues I beat Mono-Red and Rakdos Madness 4 times and lost 1 time. I beat multiple Dispute decks. I beat Flickertron and Altertron, and I beat the slower version of our deck and lost to the faster combo deck, which is Infect. We lost to Mardu, probably because of the absence of Rust, and we beat 1 Blue Terror and we lost to the other Terror, again probably because of the absence of Rust, but still. So even if you should not judge a deck by 3 leagues, I think those leagues were kind of representative of my experience with the deck. I think it's a very good deck in this kind of environment. It's good versus aggro decks, it's good versus mid-range black decks, and it's good versus combo decks which are slower or as fast as we are, because usually we have more and better disruption than them. For example, Elves, I think it's a good matchup because we are kinda the same speed, but we have Snuff Out, Caustic Exile, and we can tutor for Snuff Out, and their interaction is usually not that great. Of course, if they start playing a lot of very markup, things start to change, but at the moment, I think this deck is very good for this kind of metagame. If you expect to go in a metagame with a lot of fairies, especially mono blue fairies, and with a lot of Jeskai Wildfire, well, register another deck. So I think we explored this deck enough, but it's not advisable to put all your eggs in one basket when the metagame is this influx, because the history of Paupergeddon taught us that usually it's the week before the Paupergeddon that decides the metagame. So what if 1 week before the Paupergeddon everyone start playing Mono Blue Fate, or if they start packing their sideboards with a Fairy Markup? Well, I wouldn't play this deck in that kind of environment. So we should start exploring other decks, because I think it's better to be prepared in many decks and decide at the last possible minute which decks to play. So, which deck I'm gonna record next? I'm not sure as of now. Tide is a possibility, red-green aggro, it's a possibility also, Six-Lane Spy, it's also a possibility, or maybe something else, I don't know. But it's enough for now. We will see on the next video. You will discover what I think it's a reasonable deck to test. And remember to not subscribe to the channel, not like the video for any reason, and if you liked this video, tell to anyone you know, and if you didn't like this video, then I don't give a shit.